I heard that announcement yesterday. There have been certainly some discussions, I think, over the last few days, primarily focused around trying to put together a borrowing transaction as the state statute authorizes approximately $50 million borrowing and sets aside $15 million separately for the debt service. If you work the numbers backwards, at least at current rates, it appears that $15 million in debt service will support about $50 million or so in a borrowing. The idea that was being discussed with the borrowing always as the foundation of any effort to get the $50 million to the school district took on a number of different ideas as a part of that, and whether that was purchasing tax liens or possibly purchasing some now surplus properties, school buildings that have been closed by the district, but always at the heart and soul of that idea was still a borrowing. With respect to actually the city purchasing those buildings, first and foremost, I think it's important to note that in the school district's 5-year plan, they had anticipated selling any number of their buildings and generating, I think, over their current 5-year plan, about $28 million themselves from selling those buildings. And so if, in fact, the city were to purchase any number of buildings, that in essence would put a fairly significant hole in the school district's 5-year plan, which is already, challenged from a financial standpoint. So that's one. Two, at the moment, I don't necessarily know that we have any decent assessment of the condition of those particular buildings. We as a city, of course, already own a lot of buildings, and ourselves trying to get many of those buildings out of our inventory. Of course, this would increase the number of buildings that we would have, and we would then be responsible for taking care of them. Third or fourth, that if we were not to do a borrowing, which is the most straightforward and unquestioned path and quickest path to getting the $50 million to the school district that's needed to bring additional staff back. In addition, of course, our spending our own general fund dollars creates a significant financial challenge for the city, and that was even before the recent court announcement from a couple days ago with regard to health care costs for the firefighters. So all of this was in a context of a variety of ideas based on the fundamental principle that there would be a borrowing. I don't have any additional information. I don't know what the value, actual value of those buildings are. I know that some values may have been assigned by the Office of Property Assessment. Unfortunately, as you well know, in the real estate market, that does not necessarily mean that that's what an actual building would sell for. And those, I'll use your word as you gave it, if I won't use your word, if we were to have those buildings and then resell them, that, as you well know, again, in the real estate market is a fairly can be a fairly long and drawn-out process. A, the district needs the money right now. B, we're not in a position to have our dollars, quote-unquote, our dollars, sitting out for an extended period of time as we try to provide services. The school district would, in the near term, they are their buildings. Again, as I said yesterday, I mean, obviously we're always ready and prepared to look at, think about, talk about any number of ideas, but the true fact of the matter is that there is one provision that is not an idea, it is a fact. Which is that we have been authorized by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania upon the approval of the sales tax, to borrow approximately $50 million, paid back by outside funding, not city funding, not school district funding, so it's not on our tab, if you will, and those funds can be provided virtually immediately, and puts the superintendent in a position to, I'll use his language, to book those dollars and start the rehiring process immediately. No questions, no controversy, no unanswered components, as opposed to some of the other ideas that are around, which have many, many unanswered questions and would take a long time to implement. We are at a point where literally a week from today, the superintendent is in a position where he has to make some pretty serious decisions and recommendations about whether or not schools should open with the dollars that we have and the personnel that we have, make that recommendation to the SRC, and certainly his comments yesterday, I think, make it pretty clear where he stands on that issue.
Mr. Mayor, Dr. Hite has made clear he's agnostic as far as where the money comes from, where the $50 million comes from. And council says, hey, we know how to sell these properties. We got investors waiting for these properties. Are you unwilling to take them at their word that that plan would work?
It's not a matter of taking the members at their word, and I certainly understand the agnostic nature for Dr. Hite. If I was in his position, I'd probably share the same view. As mayor, what I know, and even what the council members know, is that, again, there is a very clear, direct, immediate path to getting the school district the $50 million that they need, and or at least the immediate security and confidence that the superintendent needs to start the hiring process virtually immediately. That is the clearest, most direct path. Everything else that's been discussed, again, has many, many moving parts and components that have questions without, in some instances, answers, or that kind of clear, direct path. And so when you're in a situation where you have a particular tool that you can use, it is right in front of you. There's no question about it. You don't have to go anywhere else to do anything. And it's been given to you, in this instance, by the higher authority, at least on the chain. My view is use what you have in the near term. We can certainly live to fight, and I've been in the fight and will continue to fight about how we properly fund or get additional funding for our pension system. But I think that the immediacy and the urgency of getting teachers or administrators or others, guidance counselors and support staff back in schools, and to give parents and certainly these students who are here the security that they need to know that they're going to show up to a safe school building should not be made secondary to adults trying to figure out a longer-term pension problem. The council president and I are in agreement that we do need to find a secure, stable, regular funding source to help with our pension issues. There is no disagreement about that. We are in agreement that we need to make sure that schools open on time and safely. The only issue, really, and I'm going to appeal to the news media to try resist every natural inclination. Try your best not to drive wedges and find disagreement. But look at the areas where there is agreement. There is a difference of opinion about the use of the particular tool that is at hand. And my concern is none of us were particularly thrilled about it, but it is what it is. And we risk, let me finish, Bruce, let me finish. We risk the serious credibility of having gone to Harrisburg, asked for A, unfortunately maybe we got B, but it is valid, it is direct, it is serious, and to not use that puts us at risk for anything else that we may want to go to Harrisburg for. There are still pending pieces of legislation that we want to get passed. There are things that many of us are still advocating for, whether it's the cigarette tax, whether it is revisiting a split, a more equal split of the sales tax going forward between the schools and the pension fund. But again, I don't mean to be repetitive, but in this environment I may have to be. The clearest, most direct, straightforward path to getting an immediate commitment for that $50 million as authorized by the General Assembly and signed by the governor is to pass the sales tax or make a commitment by at least a majority of the members, and I've already committed, pass that sales tax, let the school district go forward and open these schools on behalf of these students on time and safely.
And you know the council doesn't have the votes to do it, so where are we?
I don't know that, Bruce, and I don't know that, and with every respect to you, and we've known each other for a long time, you don't know that. No one knows that.
The president said that yesterday.
I heard what you said. I think that what I heard the council president say was that, one, he was speaking for himself. Two, council has a process. Three, that he was not speaking on behalf of all 16 members and was certainly going to take some time to talk with them. So none of us know at the moment what will actually happen or what the members will actually do. And I'm certainly not prepared to speak to that in any way, shape, or form. I heard everything that the president said. I respect the president's view. We are in more agreement than less, but there is a difference of opinion about the path, and I believe that we should take the most straightforward and guaranteed path in this particular instance and fight about some of those other issues on another day and not on the backs of these students.
Do you detect any progress overnight since yesterday's triple news conference appearances with people taking out positions? Do you get any word? Have you talked to the council president since then?
I have not talked to the council president since then. I certainly expect to speak with Council President Clark and a number of other local or state elected officials in the near term.
Can you get the council members in for a vote next week if you have the votes to get what you want on the search? I mean, can they all come back from wherever they are at this
well,
point?
I mean, not to get
by the 16th.
Yeah, I understand. Not to get technical with you, but under the Home Rule Charter, actually, it would be impossible for the council to literally vote next week. Vernon, I know you're a total veteran in this regard. I think what Dr. Hite has asked for is at least the assurance by a majority of the members and has asked me as the mayor to commit to passage of a bill and, of course, my signing it. And with that confidence, he would be in a position to start this process. It actually literally takes 3 weeks to pass a bill.
That you could buy, Dr. Hite? What would be a guarantee from the 17 politicians on the council so that you could sign off and start school on time?
Well, as the mayor has indicated, it would be some sort of assurance from them. And I said yesterday, I don't know what form that would come in, but it could come in, it could come in verbal form, letter form, whatever form we need, where most of the individuals are in agreement that they would, their intentions are to approve access to those resources. And once that happens, then we can begin booking those monies and recalling the staff.
Dr. Hite, yesterday the council president said that he would give you assurance that the $50 million would be made available, just not through the sales tax. Would you accept that?
That is a conversation or a question for, we are naturally being advised by legal general counsel, and that's a conversation for general counsel. And I don't know, with respect to the legislation, if that would suffice for us to be able to begin booking, because there are also some financial obligations and some legal obligations for the school district as well, to our bondholders and to everyone else. And so it would not be responsible to begin booking that money until we had some assurance that was legally vetted that those monies would be available.
Dr. Hite, Mr. Mayor, is there any reason why this announcement came yesterday as opposed to earlier, now that we're so close to this deadline?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, as you know, we talked actually about releasing or spending access to $33 million that we had at the time. we chose to spend those dollars on activities to prepare for school opening. One of the things that we were assuming or anticipating the additional $50 million in revenue. The timing of yesterday's announcement was based on a couple of factors. Number one, just as we are beginning and need time to prepare for the opening of schools, so do many of our families. And if there is any question whatsoever of whether or not there may be some delay or some alternative means to a regular opening, then we wanted to have the ability to inform parents. The other thing is that it was also intended to communicate a sense of urgency around the fact that time is running out. We have now less than 4 weeks before we receive students. We have 3 weeks before teachers return. And there are a lot of things that need to go on in the next couple of weeks in order to be ready to open on September 9th. And so that's why yesterday's announcement was made yesterday as opposed to earlier in the year. We are still moving toward a process of opening on September 9th, but we also recognize that anything that doesn't come available by next week then makes that very difficult to do, because now we're beginning to run out of time for the time that we would have to recall individuals, get schools appropriately staffed.
Dr. Hite, because of the time restriction that you just outlined, can you tell us what your thoughts are on the standalone proposal by Council President Clark to sell the properties and then recoup the money through each sale?
Yeah, and I'm in a very different position than naturally the council president and the mayor and all of our elected officials, both here locally and at the state. There are only few things that I control, and I manage a district that has the responsibility of educating 136,000 students. And within my control is spending. That's it. We don't generate revenue, we can't produce revenue, we can't levy taxes and do those types of things. And so based on that, it's my responsibility to talk about what we need at a very minimum in order to provide for an adequate learning environment for students. And that's what I did yesterday. Now the proposals, there are a lot of proposals, yes, but there's also the thought that we believe that we have access to some monies that are available that need to be certified or whatever the process is so that we can begin booking those monies. And so I don't want to respond to specific proposals. I am pleased that there's still that both council president, members of council, the mayor, members of our delegation in Harrisburg are all working to try to resolve this issue and working every day to get to some sort of resolution. So I'm pleased that they understand the sense of urgency, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment on proposals.
Let me take one or two other questions, and then I've got to get to a meeting. I'm sorry.
You and the council president agree that this isn't the ideal plan, the sales tax extension as written by Harrisburg. Also,
In the form that it came out.
right. And it was given to us by Harrisburg and worked out through the governor's office. Harrisburg also contributed very little new funding to the schools this year. Does the city, whether it's your lobbying or the effectiveness of the delegation, have a problem getting its voice heard in Harrisburg?
No, I don't think this is a matter of voices heard. We had tons of meetings. I think voices were heard. Harrisburg is a quite unique place. The governor had even some proposals of his own that so far have not gotten to the place where he wants them to be. And in that particular instance, all the leaders, at least, of the caucuses, the majority caucuses, and the governor are all in the same party. And so we asked for a certain type of support or relief. They, in the end, gave us something else. It is what it is, and you have to use what you have. I mean, if you walk into a store and ask for a hammer, and the person says, "Well, I don't have any of those, but I have something else," you use what you get. We have access to this particular tool, and that's the reality of the business that we're in. You don't always get sometimes exactly what you ask for, but if it helps to address the problem that you're trying to address, in my mind, and with the immediacy and the urgency, and we're talking about the education of our young people, my recommendation is move forward on what you have and then continue to fight for something else. But our delegation fought very, very hard. But there are, 30-some members of a 253-member General Assembly. There are 67 counties in the Commonwealth, and we're one. And so, again, they took some actions that, some would have said they were surprised that they took action on the things that they did. And that's the nature of our business. Last question.
Mayor, the next few days, because of the urgency of the situation, will you be asking at least 9 members of council to sign something, some pledge that they will eventually support this so they can get the money? Is that the best way to go at this point? Stand up in public, say, I'm for it?
First of all, well, I think after yesterday, there's should hopefully not be any doubt in anyone's mind where I stand on the issue. I'm going to continue to work with Council President Clark as the leader of the council. Certainly, I know many of the members on my own, but I want to work with the council president first and foremost. And whether members call me or I'm somehow in touch with them, everyone is concerned about this issue. So I'll go back to what Dr. Hite said, and then I really do have to go. We are focused, we are working. There have been numerous meetings and conversations out of the public eye, but I want to reassure these students and parents and folks throughout the city of Philadelphia that we didn't just start talking about this in the last few days. This has been pretty much an all summer long discussion and conversation. Unfortunately, we're at a bit of a, kind of coming to a head. And that happens in this business as well. We're focused, we're working on it, and I'm optimistic that we'll reach a proper solution to ensure schools open on time and safely. Thanks.